What's going on, everybody? This is a special edition of You Ain't Got a Lot of Kicker podcast. This ain't gonna be our normal podcast. This is actually a draft special. We had some technical difficulties Monday, so we unfortunately was not able to post. So we figured we're gonna bless y'all with this draft special. We're gonna drop this before the draft. That way, everyone can get our opinions and see if we hit on some of our opinions, as well as get our thoughts out there. Who am I with today?
Your boy Money, hey, I'm just hoping we're not too far off. That's all I'm hoping
I
for.
know, right? I hope we don't get irritated by the draft, but we're just gonna hop right into it. We're gonna talk about basically the top five picks, who we will pick if we is that particular team. Then we did a mock draft simulator. That was really fun. Money had found a mock draft simulator, so we did three of them. The first two we did no trades, and the last one we did trades on. We're gonna talk about that, say which one was our favorite, and then we're gonna end with who we would like our team to ultimately draft, and also who we believe they will draft. So first things first, Money baby, you want to start us off with who you would take with your five picks, starting with the Titans. You're on the
Okay.
clock.
Okay, so I'm on a clock. The Titans, based off of everything they said, hey, we're taking a generational talent, you can't go quarterback. You have to go Travis Hunter. If you say generational, because he can play both sides of the ball. Will he do it in the pros a lot? I don't see that happening, but I see, it happening in spurts. Like, hey, Travis, we need a first down or something like that. Go split out wide, that type of thing. So if you're basically going with generational talent, what you're saying, then you can't go quarterback. You go Travis Hunter. Okay, that's Tennessee Titans. Okay, with the number two pick, as the Cleveland Browns, I am going Carter.
Mm.
You need, man, that pass rush would be nasty. Miles Garrett and Carter. You get
It would be.
Carter to learn from Miles Garrett. Hey, you have to go with Carter, and you will have that pass rush for years to come. And I'm gonna just be honest. I'm gonna make a take that a lot of people are not talking about. I think the Browns are low key tanking for next year's draft.
Then you'll
What do
go
you
get the
think about
Prince Charles
that?
promise. I mean,
Probably.
I mean, it is. It's some quarterbacks I've mentioned before on here. The quarterbacks I like that's coming out next year. So I wouldn't blame them, especially if you truly feel Abdul Carter is generational, as a lot of people think he is, as well as Travis Hunter. Then yeah, roll the dice. Go ahead and tank. Because I already mentioned on here, I already put that take out there that I think if they do take Carter or Hunter, they're basically saying they're going to go get Kissing Cousins. So Fancy was in Minnesota with Cousins. They have that relationship. He knows their offense. It's a familiarity there. They're the Falcons aren't going to pay him to be a backup. A backup, excuse me. They're just not going to do it. They're not going to pay him to be a backup. So he's going to get moved. And it's funny too. Kirk is a businessman. If I ever get to the point where I need an agent, I want Kirk Cousins' agent, or I want Kirk to represent me, because if you don't do certain things, they take money from you, right? They had optional starters meeting, right? Optional. You don't have to be there. Optional starters. Guess who was the first one there? Kirk said, "You ain't
Kirk
getting none of
Cousins.
this money, bro." He said, "You ain't getting none of this money." So yeah, I think the Browns are going to trade for Kirk Cousins, and he's going to be their quarterback. And if he's bad, then they're going to get a top quarterback. And if he's good, then I can see a world where the Browns in the playoffs again with their defense.
Yeah. Hey, my main thing is the situation we've talked about before. You have Deshaun Watson making all that money, and you bring in Kirk Cousins. Unless he takes a restructure or something, then I don't. He's making a lot of money too. That's my concern
That'll
with
be
that.
part of the trade. They will have to take some of that contract, which obviously I'm not Minnesota, excuse me. Atlanta's going to try to push back on, but it's like, listen, we're taking him off your hands. So yeah, you're gonna have to eat some of his contract. So I think that will be negotiated, a part of the trade, but Atlanta's still gonna have to foot that bill.
Okay, sounds good. Number three, I have the New York Giants. If you're the New York Giants and you're number three, according to our what I would do as a team, I would take Cam here At number three, they have all the height for him and everything. So, and you need a quarterback as a Giants. You can't say you don't.
Correct.
So you got to take Cam here. Um, Number four, the Patriots. The funny thing about this is, in all the mock drafts, they draft the same player. At number
Hmm.
four is the Patriots. You already know who I'm taking. I would take Campbell. You
Yeah,
need protection for your quarterback. It's hilarious
absolutely.
that every draft they had him go there. And then number five, if I was the Jags, I would try to trade down. But
Mm,
if that's what I would try to do, but if I had to stay there and pick, I'm going. I'll say I'll go. I'm going offensive tackle. I'm going offensive tackle. I know that the Missouri offensive tackle, what's his name? Uh, Armand Membo. He's been projected high, but I know Kelvin Banks Jr. has also been projected high, but
yes, his
that's what I
name's
would
been
do.
up there.
I would protect my quarterback. You invested in him, you have to protect him. That's what I would do if I was the Jags.
Okay,
What
okay,
about
I
you?
like that. I like that. All right, so let me start off. Um, so with mine, I did the same as you. I went with what I truly think would be the smart thing to do here. One, the Titans need help everywhere. So everyone, I want Cam Ward here. You need a quarterback. No matter how you want to slice it, you need a quarterback. I think it will be the wrong pick. So I agree with you and what would be the smart thing to do. I think it'll be the wrong pick, but I believe this is what the Titans are going to do. They say they want a generational player, but they're going to take Cam Ward. I don't believe Cam Ward is generational. I do love, I'm not a fan of Cam Ward. Let me be clear on that. But I do love the idea of him in New York. And the reason why is Malik Neighbors looked like he may be a superstar, right? You get a guy
Yes.
like Cam, Cam's going to throw it downfield.
He's on the
And
cusp.
as a former wide receiver, exactly, as a former wide receiver myself, you love nothing more than a quarterback that's going to give you a chance. So Cam is going to give him that chance down the field. It's not going to be how it was with Odell and Eli. And Odell talked about this in the interview how he felt, man. You know, after a while, you get hard. It get hard trying to take a slant 80 yards every play. So I think they're going to go Cam Ward because the Titans need a QB. Point blank. Period. Will Levis isn't the answer. They need a quarterback. Number two, Cleveland. I'm gonna shock you with this one.
Hey
I
Jay,
got Shador.
Jay, I got something for you regarding the Titans. You know that they've been getting
Hmm.
phone calls and they're like, we're not trading the pick. So we already know who they're picking. They're taking Cam Ward
Yeah,
with that pick.
they're taking Cam Ward, which is funny because before we went through the whole draft evaluation process, they're saying like we're open to trading the pick. They are very clear on that. We're open to trading the pick unless there's a generational player on the board. That's what they said. Remember, unless there's a generational player on the board, which based on the evaluation there is, but you're not taking that player. So
Possibly
yeah, they're
two.
gonna miss. Possibly two, exactly. Possibly two. But yeah, so the Browns, I got them taking Shador Sanders. The Browns need a quarterback. There's no way you want to look at it. And funny thing is, if you look at the history of top flight talent being drafted, none of these guys elevated their team. Quentin Williams went number three, 2019. What has the Jets accomplished?
They made the
Nothing.
playoffs.
Exactly. Barely made the playoffs. Saquon Barkley went number two, 2018. What did the Giants accomplish with Barkley? Nothing.
They made the
Miles
playoffs.
Garrett
That's it.
Miles Garrett may be arguably the best defensive end we've seen in 25 years. He went number one in 2017. What has the Browns done with him?
Barely made the playoffs. That's it. They haven't
Barely
won
make the
nothing.
playoffs.
Went far.
That's it. You need a quarterback. And let me be transparent on this as well. I don't want Shador to go to the Browns. I think the Browns is a poorly run organization. I think it's a clown show, and it's already a negative connotation around him. I would hate for him to go here, but the Browns need a quarterback. The only way I don't see Shador going here is if the Browns doing something that the Cleveland Browns do and take Jackson Dart. You know I love Jackson Dart, but taking Jackson Dart number two in the NFL draft, I think is a mistake. I wouldn't
Let me
take
ask
him
you
number
this,
two.
Jay. Let me ask you this. They say there's been reports that Travis Hunter might be the second pick. What do you think about
I've
that
seen
one?
those. I don't hate it. The Browns will be silly enough to let him try to play every snap both sides of the ball because of the Browns. He can't play both sides of the ball every snap. You can't go from guarding Tyreek Hill and then flip over and getting guarded by Jalen Ramsey. You just can't do it. The talent in the NFL is too elite. I think he'll be elite at corner if he plays corner full time. I think he could be a good receiver, maybe very good, but I think he should focus on one side of the ball, but someone's going to be silly enough to give him the opportunity to do it, and I think the Browns is that team, so that makes sense to me. But moving along, number three, the Giants. I got them taking Abdul Carter. If the Giants end up drafting Abdul Carter at number three, this would instantly make this the best defensive line of football, without a question of a doubt. They already have a top five defensive line as it is, currently constructed. You take a guy who we all believe with Abdul Carter being generational and adding him to that, that makes the Giants an instant playoff team, in my opinion, from their defense alone. I know they got Russell at quarterback, but that defense is going to be too good, man. I think that defense is going to propel them to make the playoffs. I think that highly of that defense. The Giants are going to shock people this year. Their offense is going to be their offense. They got, like I said, they got neighbors. Their tight end Theo Johnson, he's really good. And you already know I like their running back. I can't think of his name right now. He came on late, but I think that'll be a great landing spot for him. Then with the Patriots at number four, Travis Hunter. Another team that I believe is going to give him the opportunity to play both sides of the ball. I think he'll be an instant stud at corner. I think he'll be a pretty good receiver. Sad as it is, Travis Hunter will be the number one receiver on that team. I mean, not to knock the guys they got, but none of those guys have shown anything. And even Polk, you remember I was high on Polk, like Jalen Polk. I was really high on him after seeing what he did at Washington. He didn't do anything last year. You know what I'm saying? And then they had Pop Douglas. Pop Douglas, I give him his props. He played really well. Pop Douglas is also 5'8". You cannot have a number one receiver that's 5'8" unless you're Tyreek Hill, who runs a 10 flat in the 100. And Pop Douglas is, he's quick, but he ain't Tyreek quick. So I got the Patriots taking Travis here. And then with the fifth pick, I like the idea of Jacksonville trading down, but if they don't, your defense was bad last year, one of the worst, and you hit on Brian Thomas, right? You hit on Brian Thomas Jr. He was a stud. So I think taking an offensive player here would not be the smartest unless you're going to get Will Campbell. And based on my mock draft, Campbell would be available here. So, but I think you gotta go defense, and I got Mason Graham going here. If not Mason Graham, you could go Will Johnson, still give you somebody on defense. But because scouts believe Will Johnson is inconsistent, and I've been hearing people bringing up his injuries lately, I think that's going to lead to him falling outside the top five. He still has top 10 potential, but I think because of these labels being thrown around on him, he's going to go outside the top five.
Hey
So
Jay,
what you think
plus
of
he
my
didn't run a
five?
40. He didn't run a
Yes,
40.
that was another thing. They were teams, scouts and teams were worried about his foot speed, and then his refusal to run a 40 raised even more alarm. So I think that definitely hurt his draft stock.
Okay, what I think about it? I'll say I agree with you with the Travis Hunter, but I think this might be a decently deep wide receiver draft. I think you can
Yes,
go get that receiver from Texas who said, "Hey, I'm gonna run a 4.2, but runs a 4.3 in the second
Isaiah
round."
Vaughn.
Yeah,
Yeah, and keep in mind he ran that 4.3 at his pro day. He didn't. He did awful at the combine.
yeah. So I think personally, well, my main thing personally with that is that you would I would take Campbell. I would take Campbell because I think the quarterback needs protection. Stevenson didn't have a great year. That's my main thing. But I do agree with you with Travis Hunter being a great corner for them, next to Gonzalez,
Yes.
and then him being a number one wide receiver.
Yeah, and I totally understand. You got the Patriots taking Will Campbell. It makes sense. Like you gotta protect your quarterback. I think very highly of Drake May, but I will admit I'm very biased. So But yeah, you gotta protect your quarterback. But in this scenario, I think if Travis Hunter falls to you, you have to take him. You have to take him. You can't pass on Travis falling to you. So that's why I had him going there.
I understand.
What do you think about the quarterbacks going? Did you like my point I made?
I'll say with the Shador, man, the Browns is the worst situation for them. I agree with you with that
It
because
is.
they just
It
ruined
is.
quarterback. They ruined quarterback careers. Look, Deshaun Watson was balling before he went there. Uh, Johnny Money Manziel was balling. Got drafted by Cleveland. Didn't hear much from him. Brady
So
Quinn
I
drafted
mean,
by Cleveland.
yeah, yeah. Brady Quinn was another bad one. And it's funny too. After Johnny Manziel was going, they didn't win the game until they got Baker, which is like a couple years. It was bad. It was bad in Cleveland. It was like a couple years
AJ
before they won the game and Baker got there.
and Baker started balling after he left.
And I was about to say that too. Like people started to think Baker was a bust. Like he took that sorry Browns team to the playoffs, and people was like, "Oh well, we don't know if he's that good," which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah, I
All
agree.
right, so you
Agree with
ready
that.
for the mock draft now?
Yeah, you got mock draft 3.
I got mock draft. You were correct. I do have it. I can pull it up. So you want me to start with mine first? My mock draft one.
Well, you can go with mock draft 1.
All right, so we're gonna start with mock draft one. I'm gonna do mine, then Money's gonna say who we picked. So with the mock draft, we did 3 rounds. You know, keep it simple. We're not gonna go 7 rounds because, to be honest, once you get to six, five, six, or seven, some of these players we don't even know. So we're going with names we know and the players we like so far in the draft. So with my mock draft, I this was I would say my second favorite one. Round one, we took Jalen Walker. You know, players I was looking at weren't available, so I felt we need to replace somebody, Shaq Thomas on the defense. I felt like Jalen Walker is a linebacker who can be an edge player as well from Georgia. So that's why I went with round one. Round two, I've been talking about him for a while. Ariante Ursary, the offensive tackle from Minnesota. The start of the season, he was a first round grade. Had a couple rough games. I think he got hurt too this past season, so he's kind of fell to a second, third round draft pick. I still think he's awesome. I'm really high on him, so would love the team to snag him in the second round. And then my round three, we went with Darian Porter from Iowa State, cornerback. I love this kid. Money knows me. I'm a huge fan of big corners. He's 6'4", 200 pounds, runs a 4.3 40, which is insane at that size. Long arms, rangy player. The only downside to him is he's raw at the position. His first 3 years of college, he was a wide receiver that barely played special teams. His senior year, he decided to switch the corner and he balled out. So he's still learning the position, still trying to figure it out. But I think that's a guy you take a chance on. Anyone that can play a position for the first time in their career and make such a swift adjustment and instantly learn it and start. Like he instantly started once he switched over there. So I think with that capability, you gotta give him a chance. He is a little older at 24, but I still think you should take him.
Okay. My round 1, I went with Derek Hampton, defensive tackle from Oregon. You just lost Calais Campbell. You need
Yes.
someone who can come in and become an impact player. This was a draft without any trades. So I was like, hey,
Hmm.
let's go defensive tackle. You lost Christian Wilkins 2 years ago. So I went with Derek Hampton. Number 2, second round. I know you don't agree with this, but this is my favorite running back in the draft. I went with Henderson from OSU. I look at it like this. I look at it like the Dolphins are stuck in no man's land, right? You have Tyreek Hill, who you look like you're going to be trading. And I would play A Chain as like in a Debo role, Debo Singles role. I'll play him at wide receiver and running back. I wouldn't put him mainly at running back because the past few years he's been at running back, he's been injury prone. So I would play him like a Debo Samuel, and you need a new lead back with Henderson and Wright. In the third
You can't
round,
draft a running back every year, bro.
hey, bro, event one, I'm gonna become a superstar. One of them gonna become a
Who you took in the
superstar.
third round, man?
Third round, I went with offensive line. You need an offensive lineman. Dolphins are really, really hurting on the offensive line. You took Liam Eichenberg. He's been in the second round a few years ago. He's been pretty bad. You taken Patrick Paul. His first year he was really bad. And then you have on the right side Austin Jackson, who he was drafted in the first round, and he hasn't really been that great either. So you need to shore up your
He
offensive
got bumped
line.
to guard, correct?
No, he been tackled. He got bumped from left
He's been
tackle to right
tackled.
tackle. He got bumped from left
Okay,
tackle to right tackle. So it's you need help on the offensive line. All right.
okay,
So
all
now
right.
now I'm gonna break down mock draft number two. This one was my favorite one. The first one was This one was my favorite one right here, man. This one was my favorite one. Okay, so at pick 13, I took my boy Walker. You know, Jalon Walker. I had to take him from Georgia. He fell to me. He let him fall to me. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take him. So that's what I took at pick 48. That boy, that beast, Walter Nolan fell to me. Defensive tackle from Ole Miss. And then
That was
in
a
the
good pick for
third
sure.
in the third round, I know you're gonna come at me about drafting running backs, but I took Cam Scatterbo.
I mean, you were determined to get a running back in there, and Cam's a good player. I like him. I think he's going to do well in the NFL. You were just determined to get another running back in there. You're just going to draft a running back every year until you get somebody you like. That's
I
just the
might be.
direction your team is going. All right, so my draft number two for me was honestly my least favorite. Mason Graham, I took in the first round. He fell to me. He was going top five, excuse me, in all our drafts. I took him number one because he fell to me at 8. Second round, I went with Landon Jackson, defensive end. I like him, but I was a little iffy. I'm big on guys transferring. What is your reason for transferring? He transferred from LSU because he couldn't see the field. And then he went to Arkansas and balled out. So it's like, why couldn't you see the field at LSU? Was the coaching or was you not performing? Was you not taking it serious? Like it raises questions for me. I understand guys transfer nowadays. Guys transfer all the time, but before it was very taboo, especially when I was in college. It was very taboo, and you had to jump through a lot of hoops to transfer. So I still kind of look at it, I guess, in that old way of thinking. But it just transfer players always give me a little weird feeling. And then in round three, I've been adamant about. I went defense on all of these. I've been adamant about getting a corner. We need another corner. So this one I went with Kobe Bryant from Kansas. I really liked him a lot. I think he actually hurt his draft stock this year coming back to college because he was really hyped up and talked about. He was a potential second rounder, maybe late first rounder. He kind of plummeted this past season, but I still think he's a good player. Has a high ceiling, and I would definitely take him with the third round pick if I was Carolina. So now moving on to mock draft three, which was my personal favorite. This is the one we had the trades in. The first two, me and Money didn't do trades. This is the one that did trades, and it turned out to be my favorite one. So with the eighth pick, I traded it with Seattle. I was able to get their 18th pick, their 50th pick, and 57th pick. And Seattle actually traded up and drafted Shador Sanders, which is a little shocking, but I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it because Shador got a chance to sit behind and learn from um, Sam Darnold. Money's big on Sam Darnold. I don't think Sam Darnold's terrible. I liked him in Carolina, but he couldn't stay healthy. He was obviously good last year with Minnesota. So he goes to a team where he's probably going to be the starter in a year or two. I don't hate that situation. So since I traded back from 8 to 18th, I wanted to stay in the first round. That was a big deal for me. So my 18th pick, I ended up taking Walter Nolan, defensive tackle from Ole Miss. I think he's really good. He's a little on the raw side. He's not going to be Mason Graham right away, but I think he has higher ceiling than Mason Graham just from the certain plays. He's very athletic at the defensive tackle position. So I love that I got him at the 18th pick. The second round, I went with Jordan Savane, the guard from Arizona. Can you really go wrong with drafting a Samoan? Like let's look at the Samoans in the NFL. All of them are dogs. So definitely had to go get him in the second round. We need to improve our offensive line to protect Bryce Young. So definitely went there. And then I doubled up on linemen. I went and got Emory Jones, the guy playing opposite of Will Campbell, LSU. I thought he was a really good player. Second round value, so absolutely had to pick him up. And with my third second round pick, like I said, I need a corner. So we went Darian Porter again from Iowa State. I already mentioned earlier why I like him so much. And the one that money was surprised by with my third round pick, I went with Savion Williams, wide receiver from TCU. Savion Williams is an absolute playmaker. I'm not sure how much film people have seen on him who don't watch TCU play, but when I say he is a playmaker, he's a playmaker. He lined up at Wildcat for the TCU. He played running back. He was obviously a wide receiver at 6'4", 220, moving like a 5'8", 215-pound running back. Absolute stud, extremely explosive. I think he's going to be a steal for anyone in the draft. So yeah, when I saw he was available, I had to go get him.
Okay, now you ready for my mock draft three? Okay,
What was your three?
mine, mine. I had a lot of trades. Okay, so I traded from
You
pick
traded back
13 to
twice,
pick
correct?
four times.
Both times.
Four times. Okay, so I traded from pick 13 to 29. I traded with Washington. They gave me pick 29 and 61. So it's like, okay, cool. I might pick at 29. Then Tennessee started knocking on my door. Hey, we give you pick 35 for pick 29, and we'll also give you a 2026 second. Okay, cool. Let's make the trade. I'm like, okay, I might trade at
Yeah.
pick 35. Not then Dallas started knocking on my door. They're like, hey, we give you pick 44 and 76 for pick 35. Sound good to me. Let's make that move. We need players. So then, I got a call for pick 61, for pick 65 and 99 from the Giants. So I said, okay, cool. So I went into the draft. I was like, you know what? I'm not worrying too much about it. Whoever falls to me, you know? And guess what? My favorite player in the draft fell to me. Nick Imawari fell straight to me at pick 44. I was jumping up and down. I was running around and everything. I was like, there's no way he fell to me at pick 44. He's projected to go first round. So as soon as the team that picked 43 got off the clock, I was already handing the card to Roger Goodell. Here you go. This is who I want. Like it took no time. Like literally 30 seconds went off the clock when I was handing him the card. And I was like, I'm taking this dude from South Carolina, 6'3", runs a 4.3. He's a
He looks
hitter.
good. He
That
looks really good.
that's what we need, man. That's what we need. So then with pick 48, the Dolphins need offensive line. I took Josh Counterly from Oregon. And I was like, hey, we need offensive line. Let's draft offensive line. Liam Eichenberg's not really that great. The Dolphins picked up a guard who just came off an injury. I'm like, hey, you can't go wrong drafting offensive line at pick 48. Then at pick 65, I drafted my favorite running back, Henderson. This time he fell to me at 65. I was like, oh yeah,
I think
we
that's
gonna run
funny
the
that
ball.
it was two drafts you took Henderson, and it was two drafts I took Porter. So that just shows how much you really like Henderson. I really like Porter.
Yes, yes, I like him a lot. At running back, I like that size and that
Yeah,
speed. He ran that 4.4. I'm like, oh yeah, the Dolphins they
that's
could
good.
call him
He's
Speed
220,
Town,
right? 221 around
like 214, 220 somewhere around there.
there. You
And
know, this is a
then,
slight tangent, but you know, Ashton Genty, he weighed in at 208. He was listed at 216. When he weighed in at
hmm,
208, that was a little concerning for me because I was like, okay, he's on the shorter side. If you're a shorter running back, personally, you got to have some size on you. So,
I agree.
when you're 215, 216, I can live with that. 5'9", 215, 216, that's okay. But you weighing in at 208, that means you play around 200. That's concerning.
It is. It
So
is
just
taking
want to
that
throw that
pounding
little tidbit out there.
in the
Hmm.
NFL. Okay. Then at pick 76, I took I got kicked out of the draft. So the CPU took Lathan Ransom, safety from Ohio State. Then at pick 89, they took Alfred Collins, defensive tackle from Texas. I'm going to just be honest. By this time, I didn't really know who the dudes were. I'm going to be honest with you. So I really couldn't
You
get
have so many
mad.
picks after trading back.
Yeah, I know. I know. And then at pick 99, they took Demetrius Knight, linebacker from South Carolina. Couldn't even be mad. You know, hey, I
Yeah,
like
he's
them
actually
South
pretty
Carolina
good.
players. I like them South Carolina players,
Yeah.
especially since I had them
South
in
Carolina
Dynasty.
defensive players usually pan out.
Yeah, especially I had them in Dynasty, won a championship with them boys. But that's a whole nother conversation. And hey, and a 26 plus man league too, by the way.
What do you think of my mock drafts overall? Like, do you think I was able to fill needs, or do you think I was reaching on players?
I think you went with getting value, and I'm thinking you were trying to fill needs. You're like, hey, we need corner. Let me go get a corner every
Yes.
time. Hey, we need a defensive tackle. We need, you know, wide receiver help. Let's go get a wide receiver. So I just feel like with your draft that you were making sure that you were filling needs and drafting players with high upside.
Yeah, so and I will admit the Darian Porter's a stab in the dark, man. Because like I said, he's so raw and he's 24. He's a little older to be coming out, but I just think he has that upside, man. Same with Ariante Ursay, excuse me. He started off as a high profile player and he fell to a second, potentially round grade. So those are definitely two stabs in the dark. I think Jalen will be bona fide. I think Mason will be bona fide. Landon Jackson, again, a potential stab in the dark. We're not sure what he could be. And Kobe Bryant, like I said, another guy who has high upside. So yes, you're correct. I definitely want guys who I felt had a higher upside. And I like yours as well. I will say with the last one, I didn't like you trading out of the first round. But I mean, you got so much value for it, so I get it. But I personally wanted to stay in the first round, which is why I took that offer from Seattle in mine. And I didn't like you picking a running back the third year in a row. That was my two things I didn't like about this draft. But I did love the value you got with your trades, so you couldn't be mad at it. And then you got some quality players too from trading back. So yeah, I definitely like the direction you're going.
Hey, I went high upside. Like, let's just call it what it is. Do you think Henderson could be a number one back in the NFL?
I do. He has a size. He looked good at Old State, but he did split carries. Don't forget, he split carries with the other kid. I can't think of his name right now, but he did split carries. He actually declared too,
What would
both
he
of them
do
in
in
the draft.
Miami, Jay? What would he do in Miami?
I mean, they're gonna give him an opportunity to be the bell cow. But with A
He'll
Chain there, they're
split
gonna mix it up.
carries.
A Chain's gonna obviously be the yeah, he's gonna split carries. So yeah.
That's why I took him. He
But
split carries
because
with
I
A
know
Chain
McDaniels tried to
and
make A
Wright
Chain the bell cow, but he couldn't take the what you call it. He didn't
and
really
Wright,
give Wright a chance. Right? I don't think Wright's gonna see the field next year. I
and
think they're
it's
gonna continue to try to
disappointing.
make A Chain the bell cow. It is disappointing. I think he
They
deserves some
drafted him
touches.
in the
He has a lot of
third.
potential. Yeah.
So me personally, with my drafts, I was like, okay, I'm gonna use Henderson and Wright as the bell cows, and have A Chain be the change of pace back. Let him
Right.
use him a lot. Let him go out, split him out wide. Try to get on the ball,
He's
but
all
use
yes,
the
he's
other
a
two
good
as the bell
receiving back.
cows. That's what I was thinking with my philosophy with drafting.
That's fair. I agree with it. It makes sense. But like I said, just drafting a running back 3 years in a row, it's like at this point, it's like we just fishing.
Hey, it won't be a
But
fourth
all
year
right,
though.
for the last, yeah, all right, you say that. So for the last topic of this draft special, we're going to talk about our teams. We're going to talk about Money's Dolphins. And we're going to talk about my Carolina Panthers. So Money, go ahead and take the floor.
Okay. What I want the Dolphins to do
Yes,
first,
go with
I
who
would
you
I
want them to
would
take.
I would want them to trade down. We have a lot of holes. Jalen Ramsey wants to
Mm,
be traded. Tyreek Hill has his own problems. Armstead just retired. Calais Campbell's going. You lost Christian Wilkins the year before. Javon Holland left. You have a lot of holes. I would like them to trade down, but I do have scenarios or where they didn't trade down who I would like them to pick. So if that my number one thing is I want them to trade down. If they don't trade down, I would take Jade Barron from Texas. That's one of the choices I would take. He's a cornerback. You need a cornerback. He has speed. You're gonna have to replace Ramsey. Cam Smith is an iffy, so I would take Jade Barron, the cornerback from Texas. If another person I would take at cornerback is Will Johnson. I like how he
Johnson
played
stud.
at I like how he's played at Michigan, and you need a cornerback. You see the theme? Jalen Ramsey
Yeah.
wants to be traded. You need a cornerback, so you're gonna have to replace Ramsey. And then uh, my third opportunity, if nobody's there to trade down, I would take Walker. Walker from Georgia. He's a really good player. You need talent now at this point, so I would take the talent on the board. What do I think they will do? Knowing the Dolphins, they will take Kevin Banks Jr., even though you drafted Patrick Paul in the second round. That seems like a Dolphins move. And probably play him at guard, knowing our luck. Or and then see
Yeah.
how Patrick Paul plays, and they're like, oh, he's bad or he's good or whatever. But he probably might be bad. So then they're like, well, hey, Kevin, we need you to go play left tackle because our left tackle, he's out there getting manhandled and pushed around. So that's what I think the Dolphins would do is take an offensive tackle, knowing how they draft.
So let me throw this question at you then. If they traded up, you would be upset with it? Like, let's say they traded with the Patriots to go get Campbell. How would you feel about that?
I would like it, but not like it at the same time because you're basically saying,
It's gonna be
hey,
expensive.
yeah, you're basically saying, hey, Patrick Paul, we drafted you in the second round, which is a premium pick, but we decided you're not that dude. And let's just
He
call it
gonna
what
get
it is.
bumped. He gonna get bumped to guard.
He can't. Jay, the dude's 6'8".
They bumped Makai Beck to the guard, and
Hey,
he's 6'8".
hey, Jay, that dude will be getting pushed around. That dude will be getting pushed
Makai
around.
looked good at guard. He didn't look good at tackle. He can't stay healthy, but he did look good at guard for the Eagles.
Hey, Jay, A Chain with a negative 15-yard loss because the offensive guard was pushed into the backfield. That's all I'm thinking about. I'm gonna say let's just call it what it is, Jay. I don't think the Patriots would trade with us. Division rivals? You think they would trade with
I
us?
mean, that's fair. That's fair. I was just throwing something out there. That's
Hey,
fair.
and they want more. They will want more from us than anybody else because we're a division
Like I said,
rival.
it's gonna be expensive. If you trade with the Patriots, it's gonna be expensive. Your current first, your next year first, and a couple thirds. Unless you're throwing like Ramsey or something. So
Uh,
then they'll
You
probably
gonna
be
be
like your
honest?
first and Ramsey and a couple throwaways.
You gonna be honest with you, Jay? I don't think the Patriots we'd even consider with the Dolphins because it's just like, hey, we're gonna get them a premier tackle. We're gonna give them a chance to get a
Fair enough.
premier tackle. Oh no, we want to sack
Yeah.
their quarterback every play. We want Patrick Paul there. They probably got a number block during the draft.
Okay. All right. So you want to say who you think they'll draft, or you want me to go ahead and say who I want Carolina to go after?
I'll say go with who you want them to go after first.
All right. So for the Carolina Panthers, I would like them to honestly go get Will Johnson. He's number one on my board. We need a corner. We just played J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn hasn't played a full season since he's been a Panther. It still bothers me to this day. Excuse me, that we had an opportunity to get Pat Surtain the second, the best corner in football, and we went with J.C. Horn. But eventually, I'm gonna let it go. Hopefully.
Johnson is a big corner, easy fluid movement skills and excellent instincts. He plays outside and he can line up in at slot at 6'2". I mean, what's not to like about him? He has dealt with a couple injuries, and people does say he's a little inconsistent. But when I turn on the tape and I watch Will Johnson play the cornerback position, I like everything about it. So definitely, if he falls past, because I've seen a couple mock drafts where he's going to Jacksonville, which I understand it because they need defense. But if he's on the board when Carolina's picking, they need to go get Will Johnson. Number two, I like Walter Nolan. Known as a twitchy defensive tackle who best fits the potential style of defense. Ole Miss playing with him quite often. The defensive scheme was Carolina kind of do a lot. And he created some wins versus run and pass. I like his size. Like I say, he's a little on the raw side, so maybe 8 is a bit of a reach for him. But I think he still is a first round talent. And if you like a guy, you know how it is in Madden. If you like a guy, go get him.
Let me ask
So,
you
I
this.
mean, that's a guy I like. So,
Would y'all stay in a 3-4 or would you go to a 4-3 at that point?
I think if we get him, we should probably because we're currently in a 3-4, like you said. I think if we get him, we should switch to a 3-4, have him and Brown in the interior. Then we'll have a pretty solid
You
D
mean
line.
4-3? You mean 4-3? The
Excuse
4-3?
me, yeah,
Them
switch to
two
a
and
four
D.
three. Him and Derek
Yeah.
Brown there, yeah, playing the D
Yeah, them
tackle.
dudes right there. That'd be nasty. Them two a defensive
That'll be a
tackle.
nice little D line. And then my third option. Now, hear me out on this one. Will Campbell. The reason I say Will Campbell is I honestly believe he's going to fall because the Pacers are going to trade back. I think the Pacers are going to trade back. Someone's going to trade up to either get a quarterback or another premier player, and Campbell's going to fall because of it. So, in my made up world, he's going to fall to Carolina potentially. If not Carolina, the pick before Carolina. So I got him falling because of that. And you know, early on, people was talking about his arm length, that craziness. So if he falls, I would like Carolina to take him.
Premier player for your quarterback, protecting his blind
Hmm.
side. That's a great pick. What do you think they
Yes.
will do?
What I think Carolina will actually do, I think they're going to go get another receiver. I hate taking wide receivers back to back years in the first round. I think they'll probably go get Tech McMillan from Arizona. I think drafting him in the top 10 is a bit of a mistake. I think he's a good receiver, but he has holes in his game. Um, Does he have the potential to be good? Yes, but I like to believe any first round player has potential to be good. If not Tech, then Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker is literally on every mock draft for Carolina to take. I like the pick. He's a good linebacker. He's going to be a potential edge rusher too, especially since we run a 3-4 defense. He actually fits our scheme quite well. So I would be okay with that. And also Mason Graham, I think that's who Carolina would take because I've been seeing a lot of mock drafts with Mason Graham falling to like 10, 11. So if he falls, I don't think Carolina's gonna let them fall past him, especially if Jalen Walker's not on the board.
Those great
What
picks.
about you? What do you think the Dolphins will actually do?
I remember I told you Kevin Bates Jr. taking an offensive tackle, knowing my luck. Or they'll take some corner that I don't
Which
even
one
know.
though? Oh, I've been hearing people mention that corner from Arizona. I mean, excuse me, from Ohio State. I didn't see what's first round talent about him, but they've been talking about him a lot.
I remember that year Dolphins said, with our first pick, our first round pick, we take Noah Igbenogany. Who? Who? Everybody was like, who? We're like,
He playing well for
what?
Washington.
Yeah. Go to a new team, ball out somewhere else.
But no, I'm excited for this draft. I feel like I mentioned this before. I feel like we're gonna have a good year. If we win this draft for Carolina standards and get the players that we need, or even if we get players that I think will help the team, I'll be really happy about it. I'm looking forward to it. I think the Dolphins are in a weird situation. It's like it's your favorite saying. You have a quarterback that's good enough not to be good enough. And I disagree with that, but so far Tua hasn't proved that statement wrong. So
Jay,
Tua really needs to have a season, but it's gonna be
are
hard
they
for him.
rebuilding? Are they rebuilding, or are you trying to go for it all because you lost so many good players? It's
It's
like you
so
might be
hard to
rebuilding.
tell. It's like from the outside, it looks like you are rebuilding, but internally, are they on the same? Are they saying that? Because if you're acknowledging like, hey, we're rebuilding, cool, go through your rebuild
No,
phase, do what you need to
they're
do.
not saying
But if
that.
internally you're saying, oh, we can win a championship, that's a problem. That's a problem. To say you're going to win a championship, you should be like, hey, we're going to make the playoffs. Like, start there before we just jump to winning a championship. You lost too many important players to just be like, oh, we'll win a championship next year.
Hey, and you didn't make the playoffs last year, and you really think this year's team is better than
Exactly.
last
You
year?
got to start with make the playoffs. Yeah, you lost too many players, and you filled it with older, injured players. So it's going to be a rough year for Miami, from in my opinion. I'm very optimistic for Carolina. I think Bryce will continue to improve. If Carolina makes the right decisions and keep improving this defense, I think we'll be competitive as well. But yeah, so tonight, 8 p.m., the NFL draft. How excited are you for this draft?
I'm really excited to watch the draft. As a Dolphins fan, if they stay at pick 13, um, I'm not going to be as optimistic because they have so many holes. You lost your free safety, you lost
Right.
defense tackle, you lost your left tackle, you lost a lot of. You're going to lose a cornerback because Jalen Ramsey wants out. Tyreek Hill has become a problem, so you might need another wide receiver. You got a lot of holes. You can't stay at 13. You have to trade down. Unless
So I got a
Will
hot take for
Campbell
you.
come to fall to 13,
Will
you got to
Campbell, that'll
trade
be a
out.
good pick. Yeah, that's steep. I don't if he falls, I don't see Carolina letting him go, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Even if Jalen's on the board, I don't see Carolina letting him fall. You gotta go with Will. We need help on that line. I take that we don't need help, but we would take the help because we got Morton. Morton's getting older. You know what I'm saying? And we got Icky as well, another South Carolina guy. But you got to protect the quarterback. We didn't protect Bryce very well last year. I think we will have to get Will. You can't let him slip past you. But I mean, Will in Miami will be beautiful. Tua can have some
I
blind
agree.
side protection. Well, he'll have some strong side protection, not blind side, because he's a lefty. But
Hey,
it'll be
Will
nice to
Campbell
have.
will be, hey Jay, Will Campbell will be protecting the left side to the new next quarterback in Miami. How this Dolphins team is they're literally putting I'm gonna say this. I'm not a huge Tua none fan, but um, you're how you give your quarterback success when you're basically in a situation between a rebuild and going for it all. You either got to say, "Hey, we're gonna go
Yeah.
for it all," or you're gonna trade away all your pieces and say, "Hey, you got to pick a position." And so I'm like, you're not giving your quarterback a good opportunity being stuck in no man's land.
Yeah, I agree. It's looking rough for Miami for sure. But one little hot take I want to add before we wrap this up. I can see if Travis Hunter falls to the Giants at number 3, the Giants are going to trade with Miami for that 13th pick to go get Shador. Signed, still delivered. It's recorded. I'm pushing my coins to the table. If Travis Hunter goes to the Giants, they're going to trade up with Miami because who else? The Saints. There's rumors the Saints may be interested in Shador. I don't see them going after him. I think they're going to make that trade with Miami because, I mean, like you said, Miami has a lot of holes. They got to fill other spots. So if I'm the Giants calling you like, hey, we'll give you this, that, and a third if you come off that 13 pick. Why would you say no? I definitely
Hey,
see a world where the Giants, if they get Travis, because you know how it go. I'm not sure if you remember, but when C.J. Stroud was drafted, Tank called him and he was like, "Yo, tell them to come get me. I want to play with you." C.J. Stroud told him like, "Hey, go get Tank," and they went and drafted Tank. So you take Travis. Travis is going to be like, "Hey, it'll be nice to keep playing with Shador. He trusts me. I know he's going to get me the ball. You guys seen it happen time after time again. I could see them trading up to go get Shador."
hey, I'll take it now. Sure, he's there at 13. Hey, I'll take it. We got holes. We probably can get an extra first for next year.
Yeah, you probably could get that next year's first. Absolutely. You get some value for sure.
I agree.
But all right, man, you got anything else you want to add?
Nah, I think it's time we wrap it up. Since this was supposed to be
Yep,
a
yep.
short one.
I mean, we been a little over our target time, but it's cool. We still in there now. We're still a short video. Hope you guys enjoyed this draft special. We definitely wanted to get this out since we didn't post Monday, and I'm really curious to see how close we were to getting these right. And if we get these right, money, we need to be applying for some applications to be some GMs and some T's because clearly they don't know what they're doing. But
Sounds like a plan to
I'm
me.
Jace HD. I'm with F Money. Go Carolina. Please don't disappoint
Let's go,
me tonight and take
Miami.
a wide receiver. I'll be crying at work. I'm Jace HD, aka 2 Wavy. This is
Your boy F Money, baby.
until the next one. Peace.
Take it easy, y'all.